Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers, sisters and friends, welcome back to Deen Matters. Now, last week, as you know, we were discussing a very, very important topic. And it was so important that we all unanimously agreed, actually, that we would have to cover this topic again. Because what happened is, as you remember, were talking about a claim which was made by our beloved youth. And what that claim was that our parents were leading them to Zina. So that's what he said, my parents have led me to Zina. Now, it was a big claim. So obviously, initially, we thought about it and we said, okay, we're going to discuss it. I had my guests here, Muhammad Ali Hashim, and we had Ali Dawa, and we spoke about it. Then also what we promised you was that we were going to go out into the streets and speak to you, right? We want to find out what you felt about this and whether you agreed with this. But subhanAllah, there was a bit of a mixed opinion on this, and it makes us wonder if it's because it's a taboo even to say it. So even as you'll see when we do play the videos, that it was a bit of a, obviously once it might have come up to, the point was made, that's when people will probably felt a bit more freer to actually comment on it. But before we go into the videos, and before I introduce you to the guest tonight, I wanted to actually focus a little bit on this, because what I feel, brothers and sisters, is that we're not really thinking about this in the level, we're not giving the importance that this topic needs. So I wanted to even just a little appeal to the youth, to those of you who are getting involved in this terrible act of doing zina. Think about it for a second. We're living in a society where it's so commonplace that, obviously you might go in the workplace or in the college or somewhere, and we're used to it. Whenever we watch a program on TV or all the movies, it's all about getting to know someone. It's all about having a relationship with that person, building a strong bond with that person. But again, it's only a bond which only lasts for a very short while, because this is the nature of having this type of relationship. So in Islam, we use the word, we say it like it is. Zina is a very, very serious thing, and it has very serious consequences. But because we're trapped in this Hollywood lifestyle where it's like it's the norm, we tend to lose sight of it. But something else I wanted to talk about today is the fact that when you're in this situation, how many of you think about the actual physical consequences of having zina? For example, STDs. How common is that? Do you know how many STDs are out there now which they sit with you for a little while? You don't even know you've got it until later on. And nobody thinks about this. They think about the whole, the fun and games of this, but it's very, very, very serious. So therefore, if the parents are in any way responsible for this happening to children, then they must also think about what they are doing to the ummah. Because even when it comes to some of the older generations who are being caught up in, for example, we know there's so many fraudulent brothers out there who are disrespecting the sisters, right? But imagine it starting at a younger age where, a parent is in the way of a child getting married. And so that child decides to go out there and do their own thing, contracting a sexual disease. They're not going to tell anyone. Can you imagine the consequences? Can you imagine what that leads to, subhanAllah? So this is something that I want to also discuss today. We are going to look at the videos, but we're also going to discuss this. So I've got my beloved brother back again, Muhammad Ali Hashim from Hugs, who's back with us again. Assalamu alaikum, bro. I must shake your hand because we had an amazing weekend, right?
We did, alhamdulillah. Are you still feeling it?
I'm still, no, I didn't do the walk.
Oh yeah,
but
yes,
it was a fantastic day, brothers and sisters. Muhammad Ali and myself, we took some fantastic children, young age, up to even 18.
Yeah.
We took them out, there were children from a charity called Hugs, beloved charity, subhanAllah. We took them out on a day trip, took them out to the countryside, took them out to the cliffs, right? We really awoken something up within them. And this is where we start, brothers and sisters. And when it comes to looking after the children, we have to do it from this age, and we have to make everything open to them, right?
No.
SubhanAllah.
I mean, like going back to the thing that you said about starting from this age, one thing that I always tell the youth is, and tell their parents as well, and the masjid communities is, these are going to be the leaders of tomorrow.
Yeah.
One of these brothers, one of these youth members, is going to be, you know, the director of this masjid or the director of that masjid, the imam of this masjid, the imam of that masjid. If we don't nurture that from now, it's going to be difficult when we actually need to find that person to step up.
Because they don't know who to talk to. When that does happen, that situation where they meet someone, and it might even be peer pressure, right? But they don't have like a big brother or an uncle or someone that they can come to, and that's one of the beautiful things. This is what I saw in Hugs. I saw on that day trip, you know, on a couple of occasions, I saw you even pulling some of the brothers up, and they know they can come and speak to you, but you were there and you were like sort of like telling them like, you know, behave yourselves and stuff like that.
This is the thing, that you have to have that relationship with the youth. And this is something which is, and I don't mean to cause any controversy, but this is something which is missing in the ummah between the parents and the children, where children don't have that relationship with their parents anymore. They can't just simply turn around and tell their parents, I feel this, you know, this way or that way. Whether it is correct or incorrect, this is a separate discussion for you to take up with your child. But this issue is, your child is living in a society where this is the norm. Your child is having these feelings. Your child is being exposed to, like you said, we belittle this. You know, I was sitting here listening to you talking about STDs and whatnot. And I can picture some viewers saying, come on, man, that's a bit extreme.
Exactly.
That's not in our ummah. It is. The reality is, it is. Like, you don't know how many brothers and sisters, who, well, me personally, brothers who would call up and say, I fell into this, I fell into that. You know, there's so many brothers who's practicing brothers where you would never expect they would ever fall into this. Practicing sisters who you would never expect to fall into this. And they fall into this, and they fall into it deeply as well.
SubhanAllah. Mohammed, let's have a look at a couple of small clips of what the viewers at home, we were on the streets, we asked you, inshallah. So we're going to play these clips, we're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we'll discuss it, inshallah. So stay tuned and watch these, inshallah.
What do you think causes the youth, your age or older or younger, to commit zina? Why do they choose that path?
I think it's like peer pressure. So like a group of boys are just talking about it, and then people feel left out. So
basically your friends, So your friends, if they're doing it, you feel like you want to do it as well.
It's just like how people are dressing, like girls how they're dressing. They just see them like boys just.
So do you think that makes it harder? Like how
Well, for people, because I've heard people say that.
What do you believe causes the youth, young, maybe 16, 18, 20, to choose the path of zina? Like, you know, sex outside of marriage, basically. What do you believe is the main cause of that? Is it parents? Is it friends? Is it peer pressure? Is it society? What do you believe?
I think it's society, how the society is changing nowadays. It's 2015. Like, if you think about it, when it was like in the 90s or something, that would be completely not acceptable. But the society that we live in, and the Western society and everything, it's just people, Muslim girls, they just think it's right. I don't even think, like, if you're talking about like sex before marriage and stuff, even if you think about relationships and stuff, it's not right to have relationships before marriage, but girls nowadays think it's alright.
Do you think Muslim girls, practicing or not practicing, do you think they go down that route? Does parents play a role, or do you think it's because, okay, if I don't do that, I'm not going to get married? Do they have this perception? As a female, what do you think goes through their head?
Girls that I know that's ever been in relationships, I would think that their parents would be like, no, you shouldn't do that and stuff like that. But I don't know.
Do you think parents are making it hard on marriage, that brothers and sisters are thinking, you know what, it's like, it's hard, do you get it? Like, for example, there's that issue of, okay, like, where are you from? Like, where are you from?
Bangladesh.
Okay, so for your family, if you wanted to marry, let's say, outside of Bangladesh, would your family be okay?
To be honest, not really.
Okay, so do you think that is a problem because parents are saying no? For example, he has to be Bangladeshi, or he has to be Pakistani, or he has to be Somalian, or he has to be a doctor, he has to have this, he has to have that. Do you think that plays a role in the youth saying, you know what, you've made marriage so impossible for me, zina's... Like,
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Do you think that plays a role?
I think parents put a lot of pressure on their children, and that may be the reason why kids are like that nowadays. I think that's my opinion.
What do you believe is causing the youth to commit zina? Why are they going down that route?
I think the reason behind it is society and the way people perceive them, and they want to show others that, oh, we're not this, what you're perceiving us, we're not extremists, we're not this and that, we're actually normal human beings, such as yourself.
So to fit in, what do you believe is causing the youth to go down the route of zina? Is it parents, society, is it friends?
Personally, I think it's society. Parents, you know, my parents, they play a good role in my life. Like they taught me from young. They took me to the masjid. They taught me, you know, right from wrong from the very beginning. So right now, you know, when you go to school, you make friends. You know, you watch a bit of TV. You go out with, you know what I mean. You're exposed to a lot more in this country than maybe back home or in Saudi Arabia. Like I was saying, how I went there when I was younger and how I was at peace there. You know, it's a simple life. I went there for Umrah, and what happened was, I just felt like I could commit no wrong, and when I came back, it sort of just, I fell out of place.
Do you think parents make it hard in a way where, when it comes to marriage, like one of the biggest things that you like tell us, is that basically, okay, you can't marry somebody outside our caste. He has to be from our tribe, or he has to be a doctor. He has to have this profession. Do you think that makes it?
That's a perfect example of why people might commit zina. Do you know what I mean? It's that. You know,
marriage is so hard that zina's become cheap.
It's like you're forbidden to cross that line. Do you know what I mean? And in Islam, that's wrong, completely wrong. I disagree with anyone who says, "Oh, you're not allowed to marry," or say a white person, or you know, they're still Muslim. That's you know, it's a religion. It's not like an ethnicity. Do you know what I mean?
What do you believe is causing our youth to go down the route of zina? Like, is it the parents? Is it the parents making it hard? Is it social pressure, influencing them? Is it their friends?
I think it's more social influence. It's a bit of all of it, to be honest, but it's more social influence by the people. For example, here when we live in London, we see it every day. It's a norm, it's normal for people to do it, so people just tag along. I think parents, if they're a bit too tight on their kids as well, they can go off-road to things like that, but mostly I think it's social influence.
What do you believe is causing the youth to go down the route of zina? Like, why are they saying, you know what, like, I'm going to go down that route? Is it parents? Is it society? Is it friends? What is it?
I think it's society and friends.
Okay, how?
I think it's promoted, like, in the society a lot. I think with our culture, I think people find it alright to do it nowadays.
Like, what do you think? Do you think parents play a role in this? Like by making marriage hard. Like, for example, like, where are you guys from? Bangladesh?
Yeah.
Bangladesh, yeah? Would, like, for example, would your family allow you to marry a Muslim that's non-Bengali? Honestly.
I don't think so. Probably not. I think our Bengali parents would want us to marry like Bengali people. Yeah. They would, like, even if they were Muslim, but they were like black, for example. I think they'd be like, no, like, so it doesn't fit into their norm.